Alright guys, so in this video we're going to go over how to install a manual fan switch on a 2014 plus YFZ450. This one here is a 2018 model, but as long as it's a 14 plus, special edition or not, they're all the same. You are going to need two things for this video. One, you'll need a manual fan switch. Two, you'll need a pack of splices. Specifically the 18 through 14 gauge splices. What's nice about doing this with the splices is you're not actually tapping in, or you're not actually cutting any of the wires off the original wiring harness. So the whole fan setup will work automatically on its own anyways. If you so choose, you don't want to actually press the button and turn it on manually. Both options will work. Before we dive in here, I'll show you that this setup works. Doing it this way will work with the key on. Or with the key off. But as long as your manual switch is in the off position, it will not be pulling any draw from your battery. So I went ahead and this is all done. All I got to do is do some final touch up and put the plastics back on. But the first thing you'll need to do is take off your hood and take off your left side radiator cover. Now in the other videos online, they're referencing quads from the 2008-ish era. So although they kind of get you in the right direction, those setups aren't going to work. In those setups, they talk about tapping into the thermostat here, which I tried and nothing happened. So I had to kind of improvise. What you'll do is you'll come around to the front of the quad and you'll go to the key and follow this wire setup down from the key to an area. I have mine ran right in the middle. You're going to cut open the plastic casing that surrounds the two wires, and there's only two of them. There is a brown and a red. And again, this setup goes straight into the key, so it's pretty easy to find. The brown is ground, the red is positive. Splice into the red. Again, you are not going to cut the wire at all. You are just tapping into the wire. So splice right into the red. My manual key came with with the two wires coming out of it being red and black. It doesn't matter what wire you use to tap into the red here. You can use black if you want to. It doesn't matter. I just went ahead and put red with red. So that's spliced, ready to go. Then what you're going to do is come around to the driver's side of the quad. Now again, as I stated in those other videos, they say tap into the thermostat. With these era quads, that doesn't really work. What you'll do is actually tap into the wires that are feeding directly into your fan motor. So find your fan motor, it's right in the middle of your fan. Find the wire setup that comes out of it. It's kind of tucked behind my coolant lines, but it's just a black casing that comes out. It is going to run up and around and right here in this area. And it also goes to a white plug. Take the other wire that comes out of your manual fan switch. And again, it's just a two-piece switch. You can get it at any dirt bike shop or really any auto parts store. But take the other wire that comes out of that switch and you're going to splice it to the black wire. If you splice it to the if you splice it to the blue and white wire and turn it on, it will blow the fuse. So splice it to the black wire. Once you've done that, you should be able to come up here. And when you press the on button, it should come on, rather if the key's on or not. So it's a pretty easy project. I just kind of got close with the other videos and then from there found my own way of how to do this. Once you have it all on and it's working, you're going to want to take a zip tie and put a zip tie around the blue splice as well as the other one. and then maybe run some electrical tape around it. You just don't want those opening up on your ride. It's not like it's going to shut the quad off, just all of a sudden the manual part of your fan switch won't work. Again, doing it this way allows the wiring harness to stay completely intact. So if the quad does get hot and you do forget to turn the fan on, it will still come on automatically. These motors do not run very hot at all. The radiators do a really, really good job of cooling it down, and the fan does come on at a pretty high temperature. I believe it's 230 degrees off of what I found online. So you might have one of these quads and the fan will never turn on, which is great. But if you're like me, being a track rider, I know that these motors last, in just any motor ever, they last longer the cooler they can stay. So I want this motor to last as long as I possibly can, so I'm going to try and keep it as cold as possible. Hence why I'm putting the manual fan switch on here. The gate's about to drop. I'm going to turn the fan on and leave it on until the race is done, basically. But yes, pretty easy process. If you have a switch that has a light on it, just make sure to follow the instructions that switch came with so that your light works. But it is really, really hard to be like, oh man, I left my fan on and my battery's dead, because you can hear the fan running, and in this setup, it says off or on. But pretty easy process. Manual fan switch works, and I hope this works for you guys.